Hello, Create with Kelley crew people. I'm glad you've joined me. I'm just kind of checking everything out here and see if I can see comments and see if I'm actually live on my computer, on my iPad, where I can kind of see what's going on. I forgot about the volume on the computer. I'm still very new at this, so I appreciate you being patient with me here while I get going. I'm excited to be here, and it looks like I'm a little crooked. Can't really see. There's a delay. I don't know if y'all have ever done this, but there is definitely a delay between when I move something and when I can see what I did on the screen. So give me just a sec, and hopefully this will be better for you. Thanks again for tuning in. I'm Kelley Pitts with createwithkelley.com. I'm a Stampin' Up independent demonstrator, and I'm excited to have you here. I have been working on Christmas cards. How many of y'all have got all your Christmas cards done and in the mail? Well, you are ahead of me. I've got quite a few of them done. Most of them were mailed yesterday. And I'm excited that these are my final ones, and I decided before I went to the post office with them, I would just do a video real quickly and show you kind of what I did. So I hope this goes okay, because I am not practiced at this. Like I said, I just wanted to show you really quickly. And what we're featuring today is going to be the paper pumpkin kit from November. I'm always kind of a little bit behind. I never did get my gingerbread house kit, so we are working on the Joy to the World kit. And I've already made all the cards. If y'all are not familiar with Paper Pumpkin, it is actually a monthly craft kit that comes in the mail. It's always a surprise, which is awesome. And it's just wonderful to go to your mailbox and not know exactly what to expect. But with Stampin' Up, the quality is always there, so it is going to be amazing, whatever it is. Normally, it's greeting cards. Sometimes it's note cards. Sometimes it's something totally different. But each month, it comes in a special box, and you'll have full instructions of how to make the kit each time. And of course, I kind of go my own way. I figure there are several videos of the cards made exactly as Stampin' Up shows them. So I do some alternatives. This month, it was really different because it was called Joy to the World. So a lot of the greetings in the kit there were some in English, some in French, some in German, which is awesome. I did not have anybody to send them to in France or Germany, however, so I made them all in English and used the supplies that I had. So I will show you some of the cards I made. I have very little of the kit left, just a few items. Each month, the kit comes with a stamp set, which you can see here for this month, that usually it has a greeting and some images, which this one did. I used most of these. And the stamps are awesome because this is a photopolymer stamp. I'll show you really quickly if y'all aren't familiar with how these work. And in your first kit, your first Paper Pumpkin kit, you'll get a Stampin' block. And then you just mount the stamp to the block. Not sure if you can see that. And this is obviously well used, but they just peel on and peel off. Easy, easy, easy. So I'll show you all the other supplies that come in the kit. It normally has card bases, die cuts, everything you need for little labels. This time it had, like I said, the greeting sets also. And you can see that I have used most of these. You can also use some of the edges, and I'll show you some of that, how I worked with a lot of the little strips that come in the kit. So I've got a couple of other products in here I'll show you later. But right now, we will get after showing you some of the cards. Okay, I made a couple of these, and the envelopes in the kit have a wonderful liner, but I thought it was so pretty I hated to hide it inside the envelope. So I cut several of the envelopes apart and used the liner for the actual added to the card base. The card bases you got 8 card bases in kind of a crumb cake color, and they all had gold foil on them. Some of them the gold foil stripes ran vertically and some of them horizontal. This one I added the piece. Stampin' Up! Always offers more in the kit than you could possibly use. So I cut a lot of my flowers apart so that I could stretch the kit even further. This flower actually came as one piece. One of the little flowers was on here, and I just cut it apart and put one of them here. The little textured piece came in the kit, and I just popped that up with Stampin' Dimensionals. If you're not familiar with what Stampin' Dimensionals are, I can show you some of those. They're just little foam, which I can't lay my hands on at this very moment, so I'll show you later. But this one is popped up on Dimensionals, and the flower is on Dimensionals. I also, since I wasn't using the other languages that had the words on them, as I showed you a moment ago, you can see here, I cut the E off, or cut the L off, and used them as little decorative pieces here, as you can see, so that you've got a lot of the foil accents, and you can't tell that they're words unless you're a demonstrator and you've seen the kit, and then you go, that looks just like an X. Well, that's because it is. I just cut them apart and used them that way. Actually, I used Wink of Stella, which that is an awesome tool that Stampin' Up! Has. It's called Wink of Stella. It is a glitter brush, and you just take it, squeeze it where it says to push, and you glitter up anything you want to glitter. Fun, easy, and it adds a little bit of bling, but it's kind of subtle. So if you're a big bling gal, then you may want to add embellishments also. But one other thing I added to this kit that I used in my stash, and that's one thing demonstrators have normally, is a stash of items that we can use. So I took some of in the past, Stampin' Up! Offered a little squeeze bottle that had cherry cobbler dazzling details in it. So I thought I had it on hand, I had it in my stash. This isn't something you can order currently, but I just wanted to show you to always take advantage of what you have available, and you can make this actual paper pumpkin kit really stretch a long way. So speaking of that, I did use a stamp set from last year to fill some of the space. I really liked this script with the joy and the peace. I thought that looked a lot alike. And so I did that. I smudged a couple of places, and that's why I wanted to show you this card. I thought, after all that work. So I just took the splatter stamp from the Forever Fern stamp set and just made a few splatters, and hopefully no one will ever know unless they're watching this video. So here's the piece card that I did a couple of different ways. You can play with it, and I rearranged the flower on this one and added, it's basically the same card, just made a few subtle changes that some of you as demonstrators probably notice. And then you don't want to ever have naked envelopes, so I stamped the flower from the kit, and then I have an address stamp that's a personalized stamp. So there's those two. In the kit, we had peace, love, and joy in 3 languages. I'll show you the ones. These are very similar also. The ones for love, and I used the same envelope. This is just cut out. You can get 2 of this size cut out of the inside of this envelope. So obviously some of my other cards are going to be smaller because we were limited in the amount of envelopes that we had. So I'm trying to see, I'm not seeing comments at all. So let me look here and see what I'm doing. See if anybody's making any comments as we go. Let's see while we're on it. Well, sorry about this, people, but I forgot I should be watching for comments, and I really am not seeing them. So, okay. Sorry about that. I was really hoping for your interaction and asked a lot of you to join, and now I can't see your comments. So, let's see here. Oh, somebody, I did see a comment that I stuck in a loop. maybe I will go cancel the, let me see here what I can do. I shouldn't have scheduled an event. I did not know what I was doing and thought I could just do it really quickly. So let me see what I can do about that. Can somebody just send me a text? Okay, yeah, that's where I saw that. I'm not sure who that was. Okay, whoever texted me and said my video is in a loop, holler back and let's just see if I can fix that. Watch. I'm going to take this event and cancel it. Hold on. Sorry, I'm trying to figure this out. Oh, somebody said it's all good now. So, yay. Okay, well, I'll just keep going. So this one is done in a very similar way to the piece card. I just used love instead. And then also I cut a little bit of a banner strip that came from the kit. You can tell where it used to be here. Cut that out of there. And I just snipped the ends off and used those on here so that I could use the gold foil in other places. Did the same trick with Wink of Stella. And then actually used some of the gold glitter gems that I loved. I've used those on a lot of items. But this just shows you another way to do kind of the same layout in the card. And the other words we used are joy. This was just on a white base. Of course, since I cut down my envelopes and had extra pieces because Stampin' Up's original cards had 2 of the flowers on each one. So I've spread those out. And the textured piece that came in the kit was white and it has kind of this cable knit texture. And all I did was took the Just Jade ink pad and just dabbed my sponge on it, rubbed it on it. You kind of start off the page and then go onto the paper. Always practice first before you ruin your paper. And I have my little sponges all labeled with the color of the cardstock. And I just rubbed that on there so that we would have some color and use the Just Jade that is one of the coordinating colors in the kit. So just kind of went with a horizontal format. The others have been vertical or portrait. So here we go. There's that one. And here's the banner that I was referring to earlier. On this one, I used the inside of the banner. A moment ago, I showed you a couple of cards with the ends snipped off and used on the love cards. Then I took the middle and sized it to fit the little label that came in the kit. And that's what I used on the joy card. All I've done to this one is use the cable knit piece as it was without sponging and thought I would try sponging the wreath. I was not as thrilled with those results, but it worked with stamping the Just Jade on there. And I just thought the wreaths needed a little something extra. So I used the little flowers. I cut basically all the big flowers apart from this little flower with the bud and used it on all my wreaths. So we got 4 or 5 different wreaths in the kit, and I'll show you the others. I also found some crumb cake cardstock in my stash and was thrilled with that because our envelopes and card bases are different in the United States than they are in Europe. So this one, since it was a global kit, it was sized a little bit differently. So I cut the card base down to fit in our envelopes. I've got a couple more cards here that I did the same technique on, just a little bit different layout with the joy and the flower done the same way, the texture on here and the gold glitter gems. All the same way. Had another joy. Then here is one that has both of the flowers on one card, or 2 sets. This is before I figured out I could cut those apart. But here you can see one of the complete flowers, and this bud is what I cut off for the other wreath. I did the same kind of texturing the color onto the textured cardstock there, and used the ends of the banner again, wrapped a little of the twine. The kit came with the cherry cobbler twine. Love using that. I made mostly bows, but I tried to do one a little bit differently. So there's that version. Speaking of wreaths, here's one of the ones that I did with, that I really like this design. I've done this in a lot of different, with a lot of different stamp sets and cardstocks, but I like the gatefold that opens up like this, so that you have one side attached to the left, and the top usually is what I do on the left, and I don't know why. The right one on the bottom. Is that the way y'all do it, or do you do it a different way? If only I could see comments, I could see what you're saying. I don't understand. I've never had this not happen before, but I think it's because I set up that event. Anyway, okay, I'll get back to it. Sorry, I can't see comments. I did two others the same way with the wreaths. Added a little of the cherry cobbler glue stuff that we had previously, and you can see that the little bud flower works on either side of the wreath. It can be at the bottom, it can be on the left, it can be on the right, just whatever you think works for you. Okie dokie. Now I have neither page on my computer or my iPad. I'm going totally blind here on what's going on. Here we go. Now I have the live up. Okay. Let's see. Next we have one more wreath. And this one is done with the curvy dies that are brand new. They were part of the variety bundle. The Christmas, Curvy Christmas, and I'll show you a couple of others of the curves. Let's see. On this one, you can see I cut the paper out. I used the texture, the old world paper texture, and this curvy die cut out of the Just Jade. And then I used one of the larger pieces of the envelope here for this part. And the curvy dies, like I said, are part of a variety bundle that I believe you can still get, that comes with Christmas paper that is similar to this. There is one with cherry cobbler and one with shaded spruce, as well as Sahara sand. I'll show you one more that I did using these dies. Here's the other half of this paper. You have to always be careful with these curvy dies as to which way you are cutting out the paper. So this one, the dots stayed at the top. You can see with that curve, one side cuts, the one with the line cuts. So I just used the top here and the bottom here, so that I was able to make two cards out of that one envelope back. All right, and then I also used, on this background, I used the gold, some of our gold foil, and used our stitch shapes framelits dies, the largest of those circles. So you have the cute little stitching and the decorative edge. One other little trick that I did on this one is the joy. If you can see, this one is a little bit different joy than we had on the previous one. And that is because I took we had J-O-I-E in French for joy, and I took the E, I just cut off the E and left the I. This is the I, and then you can see here, this has kind of been pieced together if you look at it, but I just took the E and made it into a Y so that it would say joy in English, and used the kit that way. So another option there. On the curvy Christmas dies that I was referring to earlier. Here's another card that I did with this. This is not the paper pumpkin kit, but just to show you another way to use the dies and some of the paper that comes in that variety bundle. This is the curvy stamp set. This will be in the annual catalog next year. It'll be carried over. So we have a stamp set and the curvy dies that I showed you, plus some others that come in that kit. And if you get it now, the variety bundle, I think, is about $70 and comes with a stack of DSP. You can use it on next year's Christmas cards if you already have your Christmas cards done, which I think most people probably do by now. But I'll move along to the next one. Oh, and here's the curvy Christmas set that I was discussing earlier that comes as part of that bundle. So you might grab that while you can. Okay, here's my last paper pumpkin card from this kit. And this, I would say, is kind of the coup de grace, what I would call it. And it opens like this. I do this design a lot also. I did use one of the flowers that comes die cut in the kit in here. And then I used one of the embossing folders from Wrapped in Texture. That is a really cute set. It has two different folders. Here's another pattern. It's kind of hard to show you without actually using it. Let's see if we can do this right here. See if you can see that texture at all. Not sure if you can. All right, those are the two texture folders. I also used ornamental envelopes. Comes with the envelope dies. And I was so sad to hear that they are retiring and we're not going to be able to use those. So the ornamental envelopes, I didn't use any of this on this particular card, but I did use this die right here. If you can see, this actually cuts out of the paper. So I cut the soft seafoam paper out and let the Just Jade paper show through so that you have that 2D effect there. And then again, I just used strips that were kind of offcuts, leftovers from one of the envelopes that I cut out, and added the little bow from the wonderful cherry cobbler twine. Used the gold like we did before. So you kind of see I had a little theme going, but we have a color theme every time. And this one had Just Jade. It always tells you on the instruction sheet what colors coordinate with the kit. And usually that's a DSP or something, a designer series paper in the kit, something that ties everything together. And in this case, the die cuts themselves had the soft seafoam, the Just Jade, and the cherry cobbler. And that's what I used for the theme for all of the cards. So I think that's all I have right now. And now I'm going to be able to go and get my paper pumpkin cards that I made this morning, finished them up, and get them in the mail, hopefully, for Christmas cards so that hopefully they can arrive in time. I'm so glad you could join me. If you're interested in finding out more about Paper Pumpkin, I would love to share that information with you. You can send me a message on Messenger. You can send me something on Facebook. You can email me at kelly@createwithkelley.com. And I hope you'll take time to go to my blog, createwithkelley.com, and check out some of the other options that I've done and see what you think. Would love to have you subscribe. And sorry, the videos, like I said, I'm brand new at this, and it just takes a little getting used to. And I'm glad I had my computer here as well as my iPad, because my iPad is still not showing me. So I won't schedule an event again. And sorry you had to wait a little bit. But again, I'm Kelley Pitts. I've been a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator for about 15 years, and I'm really glad you could join me today. Hope you'll subscribe to my blog, and if you're interested in subscribing to Paper Pumpkin, again, that is a monthly craft kit that is a surprise each month. It's awesome. It comes with a stamp set, a stamping spot, and all the supplies you need to make whatever's in the box. And then you can take other items out of your stash and really expand the kit a lot each month. And I want to apologize. Yes, I have cherry cobbler all over my hands, and I didn't have a chance to do a thing with my nails, so forgive me for that. But thank you so much for tuning in, and I will go ahead and end the live. Sorry I couldn't see your comments earlier. If you made some, I'll go back and try to look at those. Thanks again for tuning in. Have a great day, and Merry Christmas if I don't see you before then. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.